I'm watching Top of the Pops. We need to bring change to this establishment, but not with the truck or a box, cause the ones at the top that are calling the shots think they've got it all locked. But my passion is burning like a Molotov cocktail, and my will to fight is still strong as an ox. Honestly, God, habits make a mind state, and if you cut jobs and raise drug prices, it raises the crime rate. Freedom of speech means I can teach about the priest's reason to preach a fallacy that has me breathing the leaf of tobacco plants. But the truth is, there shouldn't be a they controlling each other. Has made the mess we see today.
I still have a dream
to see past the secrets and know what to really be free is.
I still have a dream.
I know you can't see this, but people, you got to believe it.
I still have a dream.
The secrets to know what to really be free is, so be it.
I still have a dream.
We need to rise up.
This nation will rise up.
Global terror is here, but we're all blinded. Chameleon governments hold info, so we don't know they're behind it. Like media light shine, and all of our eyes wrong. The educated exaggerate the problems of mankind. Now there's violence around us, no escaping its find us. Rebellion, martial law, and then they'll unpound us. Got a pain in my leg, must be my female. Black blood being spilled over Oscar Aaron Lima. Can we just sit back and let this all happen? Like guards at the gate that got caught out napping. I invented a cure for cancer using radio waves, replacing chemical placebos with herbal remedies. Who let the dogs out? It turned into swine flu. It wasn't on the news cause it wasn't supposed to. This is expression, revolutionary lyrical art. I'm Irish through and through and I've got fire in my heart. I'm a soldier, I told you, bend you, then fold you. Knowledge is my burden, got a lot on my shoulders. Don't shoot the messenger, stay away, I'm telling you. Listen if you like, but I'm not gonna yell at you. Blinded with money, I'm going green with envy. Doesn't this corporate world fucking torment you? Do you sometimes feel weak and empty? Do you think TV is there to help you? Working, sleeping, drinking, but nobody's living. Lab rats in the maze is the life we've been given. Hold up, I think I'm gonna sneeze. Did I say zeitgeist? Oops, there, I said it twice, nice. Yeah, this is a prank. My name is George Shank, and I work at the bank. I'll tell you everything, then I gotta catch a flight. I want this all in the open, in plain sight.
I still have a dream
to see past the secrets, to know what to really be free is.
I still have a dream.
I know you can't see this, but people, you got to believe it.
I still have a dream.
The secrets to know what to really be free is, so be it.
I still have a dream.
We need to rise up.
This nation will rise up.
Cannabis blazes, we rattle your cages. Truth like hot rocks burning holes in the pages. I'm working so hard, trying to change tomorrow. I'm a fucking revolutionary like I'm Che Guevara. You try to use statutes to catch you, but I comfortably bargain on the gospel of Maati. Making me swear on the book that preaches equality. I came from the clay, so you can't put laws on me. 8,000 years of Celtic mythology. I demand an apology. This farce makes a mockery of me, my mind, and my spirituality. My words are just as valid as anyone's actually. So what is reality? Somebody challenge me. That's your reality, fine. Don't interrupt mine. We write for the message and not for what sells. Ancient Irish knowledge straight out of the Book of Tales.
The Irish people, inherently and historically, opposed to secret societies, to secret oaths, and to secret proceedings. We decided long ago that the dangers of excessive and unwarranted concealment of pertinent facts far outweigh the dangers which are cited to justify it. And there is very grave danger that an announced need for increased security will be seized upon by those anxious to expand its meaning to the very limits of official censorship and concealment. Good evening. Good evening.
And good evening and welcome to Out of the Bag. This is Sean Maguire live on EPGN Radio, and it is the 4th of the 5th, 2022, and I've got a packed show for you tonight. So I have, before I do get into the show, I do want to say that I am still homeless. I'm still looking for a bail address somewhere here in Ireland and a bit of help too. I've got to put Out of the Bag Radio .weebly.com is my website, of course, but Out of the Bag Poetry at gmail.com if you want to contact me, find out more about what's going on. I've got my own situation going on, but we've got a situation of Out of the Bag, and that is tonight's show. I'm going to be bringing on John Winoa, who returns to Out the Bag after a couple of years in hiatus, lots and lots of stuff happening. He's an ex-lawyer working with the native kings of New Zealand to bring back power to the people and exposing the fraud of the present UK monarchy. We will learn so much that has been hidden from us as John will reveal his plans for change in the future. I've been told there's big news here tonight, and it involves all the people of the UK and the Commonwealth. With John will be Andrew Devine, who has set up this wonderful Zoom broadcast tonight for me to be able to go on Out of the Bag live with him and John. I want to thank Andrew, brilliant activist for truth, doing loads and loads of great work out there. I hope also to have some of Andrew's input as well. It'll be a packed hour, or maybe even longer. If it goes on, I will carry on, of course, but after that, I will bring in another part of the show where, as I wanted to bring them last week and I couldn't, this week I have them ready. I will be bringing recordings from the Legalised Cannabis campaign, which are groups coming together in Phoenix Park on the 25th of April to demonstrate together for the legalization of medicinal and recreational cannabis use. And I've also got a wonderful speech from the event by Luke Ming Flanagan, and hopefully that will be a little bit later. Then in the final hour of the show, if I've got time at all, I'll be playing bands that have been announced to play Rebellion Festival 2022. And check out www.rebellionfestivals.com. But before we have any more blips and blops on the show, I'm going to introduce, hopefully, John Winoa and Andrew Devine to Out of the Bag. Are you with me, guys?
Well, Andy is. We're just having serious problems at the moment with John. Just
right. Okay. Live radio, don't you know? Well, listen, Andrew, welcome to Out of the Bag again. You were on not so long ago with Anthony Badaloo doing other work, and now we're here talking about John Winoa's, I suppose, mission that he's been on for such a long time.
With mine, I mean, I always the same. I mean, to be truthful, it's about justice, yeah. It's about justice, and and what justice really. I mean, to get justice, it was always about the courts, wasn't it? So, regardless, with Anthony Badley, we're exposing the facts of what's the corruption within inside the courts, because obviously these are just administrative courts. There are
Absolutely.
no courts.
Well, I'm seeing it firsthand, Andrew. I'm involved in something at the moment that has just proven to me that is absolutely terrible, the corruption going on in family courts, in district courts, etc. Haven't got to the High Court yet, but maybe they're just as corrupt. Hopefully not, and people will be heard. But on the lower levels, people just don't get heard, do they?
Well, because it's not the people. This is the point, isn't it? Okay. It's not the people that are being taken to the courts, really, because it's the person that's being taken to the courts. And this is what it was all about, The Bar Association works on a, they all swear on an oath, yeah? And that oath that they swear on is no fact will ever be heard or tried in a court of law. Yeah. Because there is no courts of law. These are all legal. It's all legal. It's all corporations. And it's the person that they're taking into the courts. So, I mean, my realization, because when I started, it was with Gordon Baden exposing 788, 790.
Exactly. That was a fair few years ago on Out of the Bag. We had all of you on back then with Gordon and John Patterson and yourself.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, it's always been about having a court, there is no courts, that we can get justice in, because no fact can ever be heard or tried because of the Bar Association, which is all taken about it. This is all maritime, it's all sea. All the courts that people believe are courts are all foreign vessels in dry dock.
Yeah, but it is complicated to people who don't know about this, and the fact that we are under Admiralty law when it's a piracy really, and they're playing their games with their rules. I'm really hoping that when if John comes on, I hope we get him on.
Well, he's just sorting his other phone out at the moment.
Right. So we're getting there. Well, when he comes on, I'm hoping that he might readdress everything from the beginning, who he is. Who he grew up with, how did he get the knowledge he's got, who is he sharing it with, how does it expand, and how does everybody get to hear about it and use it, I suppose. Similar to Irish history being airbrushed out of the truth and out of all the history books, it seems to be that pretty much any country that has been under the British Empire over the last, couple of 1,000 years, have had their history also completely changed and lied about.
Well, my research, when I went into my research, first of all, I mean, I started off with cancer. I wanted to find out about cancer.
Yes.
And basically, when I went down all the rabbit holes and found all the information that I found out, i.e. how the Rothschilds took over, how they removed, well, they didn't remove the royalty, but they took control of the royalty by bankrupting. This was using Napoleon's War, and they bankrupted England, they bankrupted the royalty, and therefore they then went and then shied their own in their onwards life. Salic law forbid queens to be coming back, and therefore it should have been a king's line, but this is where the separation went. And this is where John, basically, when I found John and he was explaining what he was explaining, that was about that flag there. Yeah. That you see behind me. Like
what is that flag there for people?
I mean, it's called the United Tribes flag, but it's the king's flag, and it's the flag of the world for free passage anywhere in the world. It unites the whole world because all laws were all come out of Westminster anyway. So it's everything that's been fought for and however it's been formed, all the laws and all the legal structures have all come out of Westminster. So that flag there was the flag that was created. The United Tribes flag was created in 1834, in March of 20th March, I think it was, 1834. And that was the contract that was signed between the kings of England and the Paramount Chiefs, which were equal to the kings, which are the natives. And the flag was taken, the mast of the ship was taken and it was put on the land, and this was then raised. And this is the true land flag. This was the only land flag. So it's the king flag. It's the one flag that covers the whole world.
So are you saying that this is basically the Earth's flag? I mean,
this is what all the kings. This is what all this so-called to take control of them, bring one form, one unity, one God's spirit law basically across the world. You know, here's John now. Great,
brilliant.
So, you know, this was my understanding. And when John was telling me what the story of what this happened, you know, he just thought to me, well, to me, it smacked me that this flag was created by the kings, because remember, this is whilst that just happened. So while the king was still there, what I understood it and what I saw it for, true or not, this is what I've always been fighting to find out, was this flag was created to save the world, because the kings knew what had happened. They knew what had happened. They knew they'd been bankrupted. They knew they'd been taken over by the Rothschilds. And this was the one last ditch attempt to save the world. And that's the way I looked at it, because this is the one flag was for everybody. This is not, for me, it's not about kingdom. It's about something that we can all adhere to. We can all agree with, you know, because of all those fine laws that were great. Yeah. They've just been usurped. They've been usurped. Yeah. And it's in the wrong hands. That flag was taken and it was hidden. It was created in 1834, in March of 1834, and then miraculously we have a fire of London in October of 1834, and now it's disappeared. But the facts speak for themselves. John's got the other sides of the contract. John's got all the history to what actually brought in. He was handed this down by the Paramount Chiefs to him. They vowed that onto him, because these were the Freemasons, and they handed him all this knowledge. And John took it upon himself, to bring this forward and get it out of everybody so that you can see what the truth is. And the contract, remember, it's a 50-50 contract. This is with the natives and the kings. So the king's power, the crown of the king was the sovereignty of the people. So, you know, regardless, good or bad, kings or whatever, it's about what's been formed in the laws, and the laws of English laws in the common law, or the laws of the land. These are the laws that we can adhere to. We can all agree to.
And no harm, no injury, no loss coming into it. Listen, John Winoa has finally joined us, and Andrew, thank you so much for holding the fort and getting it all together before John arrived. But it's absolutely fantastic to invite John Winoa back to Out of the Bag. John, welcome back.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. It's been good to be back after a bit of absence, to get myself back together again. And but leaving off where now from Westminster, all roads lead to Westminster, not the Vatican. Right. So we're forming ourselves into a corporation. We have to be a corporation to fight the corporation. company.
Okay.
And that's what we're doing here. We're putting together a fresh crew here to come over and to join the crew we had there. They're disbanded now, so it got mixed up with a few things,
Yeah.
trolls and things like that spoilt the whole thing.
Infiltrators would be, you know, they go everywhere. Yeah.
They were out to stop anything from the narrative of what they're following on their side of the crown. Everything is crown.
Yes.
And that's where the wealth, the money, the assets, everything thrown into the big crown business.
Yeah.
With the crown on her head. That's the whole corporation business of the Rothschild.
Yeah.
And so that crown was created in the commercial world in our time from 1835. That's when the Rothschilds started dreaming up how they could snap the king's axe of martial law and the axe that got them the land, the wealth and everything that the king gave for us. And he more or less hid it here in New Zealand and hoped that the Maori people, well, it wasn't Maori then, that only happened in about 1949.
Okay.
I've got all the records for that. But we are talking about a crown king flag that hid its crown business here in New Zealand at that time period, locked there. You lock the history to the king's flag because that's the emperor and imperial laws that created the money and the wealth.
Yes.
That's the crown and the Rothschild side of Queen Victoria snapped off us, the chiefs that were very well educated. The two chiefs went to England, to Cambridge, and learnt English. So they were well, one of them, Tira Waikato Whare Here Manukau, they changed the name over here to hide that away, the real name, and they put another name with Hongi Hika. Those two chiefs went to Cambridge. That's in 1820. In 1823, that's when they sold the land of New Zealand with King George IV. This was going to the commercial world of King William III, of how you capture countries by the captain on a ship. He's the magistrate. When he hops off and he puts his flag in the ground and says, the land belongs to the king, it meant the document and the crown. It meant that wealth gathering around the world, but that's what the magistrate. That's why I went back to a magistrate, Native Magistrate Court, the native of England. So we put together a Native of England Magistrate Court, native people of England, not all the immigrants and everybody else. That it's a contract between England natives and New Zealand natives at the time, locked on that time, with the surnames right, the male line, king line, bloodline descendant, king to king to king to king, not the queen. On the King William side, while on King William III and the Queen Mary, it was King William's axe that got all the wealth, not the Queen Mary. So they dreamed up this scheme of changing into a queen to take the king's hard workplace and then construct it from 1835. That's when the real commercial contract.
Okay. Can I ask you a question, John? So basically, things were ticking along the way they should. Things were going fine. Things were being passed on. Power was being shared amongst whoever, and kings and tribes, etc. And then the Rothschild British corporate elite pirates came in and usurped it. That's basically what happened, and took it over.
Yes, they took it over. They took it over under a queen monarch bloodline, which is where they put the wrong king in. They put in King George V when it's supposed to be King Ernest Augustus I.
Right, and King George V is guilty of one of the most heinous crimes in my country, where we held a referendum in 1916 to 1919, and we had a fully elected by 74, 78 seats government put into our sitting as government, and King George V said, no, I can't let them win, I lost, and he went out and he killed them. So basically putting his own people in a place with a contract that lasted 99 years. It was originally 2 years, but they killed Michael Collins when that agreement failed. They killed him, and they made a 99-year contract. Believe it or not, John, and this puts in a very strange position in Ireland at the moment, we know that contract ran out on the 6th of December 2021, just recently.
Yeah.
I don't know what position that puts us in, but maybe we can hark back to our original government before this heinous crime of our government being killed. I don't know.
Yeah, so that's when it's supposed to return back to the native of the people. When the contract ends, that's what happened with New Zealand. When the contract ends, and the contract is null and void, because the land's got to go back to the original native of the land.
Yeah, they were fraudulent contracts in the first place, John. But now those fraudulent contracts are running out. They're running out of time, even with those. Yeah,
so you can sever them if you've got a good case. That's what we're doing here, severing all of them. Where the problem started, where all the trouble started was they were fashioning George V to go. He's a younger brother. King Ernest I was the older brother. He should have picked the old one, not the young one. So they masterminded this. The Rothschilds and Nathans and all those people. They masterminded it so that the title shifted quickly. For under a year, King George V reign did no work for the Admiralty, and then put in King George V, then King George V, then Elizabeth. They did it that in a short time, like how they're putting these vaccines and everything. Short time, just flicker the switch. Decisions in Parliament. Everything's been done in statute. So we challenged the Statute Acts of who that king was at the time that enforced it, and go back and reinstate King of Britain, UK, Hanover, King Ernest Augustus I. He's living now. King Ernest Augustus V is alive in London now, living, and he should be king, the real one.
And is he aware fully that he is the proper king?
Yeah, for the crown. In the bloodline, in the proper real bloodline, with the coronation and all the rest of it, the Queen has done. All of that illegal stuff on the Queen's side is what's wrong, and this will straighten it out from the Ireland history and the New Zealand history, where they made more concentration on those acts of Parliament to usurp the Admiralty law, martial law of the King William IV, more so in our time, of what they're doing to take over lands.
If the Irish people knew that all the taxes paid to our Irish government, he says in inverted commas, to our provisional government that don't exist anymore, all the monies, taxes of all descriptions, income tax, VAT, all of it, goes into one fund called the Consolidated Fund, and that fund is owned by the Crown. It's as simple as that.
That's right, the big crown. I call it the big crown and the little crown. So the little crown in Ireland is the little crown that has to pay to the big crown in Westminster or London. In London, not separate Westminster from London. That's a different country.
Yeah, the borough of London. It's like the Vatican, isn't it?
Yeah, and Washington, D.C. They're working together. Those three corporations are working together still today, and hoping no one sees that we're uncovering that they're only just another corporation company. That's why we're setting up a corporation company to challenge them in the Westminster Court with documents and memorials to the land they stole. They stole the memorials to memorialize their certificates of and against something of God. The obelisk was stolen from Africa, and the Pope in the Vatican uses it for a penis, and the oval where around that is the womb of a woman, or the vagina, and they took that from Africa and bastardized our memorials. We're enforcing things. You see in what my next Zoom meeting is with Andy, of
Right.
enforcing getting those memorials back into the native of the land.
Okay, the courts are so corrupt, John, that somebody like me, who might be a bit of a cynic, okay, we're thinking, will they even hear you? Will they even let you into court? Because if they know they're going to let you into court to do what you're doing, surely it's bringing the whole structure and the court system down as well.
No, I was going to the Rolls building where they do international court hearings before when I came down, and so that's City of London, owned by that government and country, the Rothschilds. You go to Westminster, that's for everybody. It should be neutral and not controlled by the World Court in The Hague. So it's the court which jurisdiction. So I was fighting against them with Brexit when the Court of The Hague was trying to overrun the Court of Westminster, and they got shot to bits. They got shot to bits in trying to enforce the acts into the Brexit, and that's when I jumped in and did my piece. That's going into our Zoom meeting next as well. I'm going to Westminster to stake our case in the Westminster Magistrate Court with all this history on Facebook. I put everything on 83 Facebook sites. I've set it all up of where I can put all these documents. I'm starting to pull them out and throw them all over my Facebook page now, and people can pick up what at the date. When you have a look at the date on the post was 2011. That's when I started putting all these things together.
Yes.
Of where it's all gone wrong, and it's taken me to change out of Maori, being Maori, into Moai, which is a memorial. And Maori was invented, the word was invented by these colonial clowns in government here.
Absolutely. I mean, look, we're called Ireland, and Ireland is an English word, a British word, meaning anger land, anger. We are actually Era, E-I-R-E, E Father I-R-E. Era is our country, They've changed the name.
They did that, they corporatized as Ireland so that they can own the patent right to that country.
Yes.
They do that for their documents. Everything's about documents and certificates of land transfer and memorials and a flag. That's all. Those are three elements, and a man, and a real man, not a dead man. They put the dead man, which is another thing. That's another thing in the birth certificates and all the rest of it, to make money. They're only in it to make money. So what I do is I use what was given to us by Queen Victoria, gave our chief King Tawhio a pound note in 1888. So I'm going to enforce that and liven it back up again, because the BNZ here had a printing machine, and the poor old Maori native had to buy the notes from England, and he got outdone. So we're going to pick that up, turn it into an instrument of debtor, and we're the creditor. We're the Moai Crown is the creditor versus the Queen Crown company. So we've got a company with the right memorials and titles.
Well, they pretty much robbed every country they've been in, and they are going to be paying back debts, for they're probably going to be the most indebted country in the world at some point, probably along with America. And anyway, can you help me get my audience and my listeners to know exactly where this all came from? Because people grow up as in their tribes, people grow up in their cultures in different countries, and we lose all our history. What was so special about John Wanoa? How did you grow up as a child? Where did you grow up? Where did you learn your information from? What families were you talking to? How did you become a spokesman, I suppose, for the tribes?
Well, my background is a mechanic. I'm a qualified diesel and petrol mechanic, and so I've got an intuition for problem solving. Otherwise, people call me useless if I don't fix
Right.
So what happened was I was doing my treaty claims for less than 1% of what they stole, and I did Mohi Manukau's claim. He's the original people tribe, the Manukau tribes that came to New Zealand. They called them Moriori, that were made just about extinct. But he was a 50-year Freemason, and he taught me everything, but he would never, ever open his mouth and talk about it on Tiki Marae, where that's a lower house of parliament, that native parliament in that time. I got all that history from him of how Rogans married their family and married the Wanoa family on the East Coast. So those two families, picked up the history from Mohi Manukau, how the Rogans that came from Australia and come from Scotland, where the titles are, all the titles to all the lands are done by the Freemasons who put who scribed the land. And
the Scottish rights, in fact, the Scottish rights would be that. Then,
So we have to go to Scotland to pick up all those titles out of the registry office. That's what I went to England for, to go and pick them all up. But my trip was short-lived. But going on about me, I picked up all the history from this old chief, Paramount. He's the fourth, Te Maati Manukau, the fourth Paramount chief that carried on this history of his ancestors, showed him Native Magistrate Courts. That's why I set up Native Magistrate Courts, got the information from him and his grandfather, how to do titles and transfer the land with certificates, and that. It's all about those Freemasons, came gentries, what they call them. They're the ones that gather all the mechanics, the lawyers, the accountants and everybody, and they put together Auckland City from Helensville, where the bank was also the court. So the bank, that's where this idea about the judge and the bank is the bank, and not the owner, not the runner of the court, is the secretary, is the woman that directs the court. What do you call her? I just can't remember. But that's where it was set up in New Zealand at that time. The whole land structure of alienating land from the natives of the land, like the same with Ireland. Yeah, something like that, Sean. I can go on and on and on, but that's me really. I'm just picking the brains and then putting down on paper. But it's taken me from 2011 till now to try and teach our people Te Marae, and no one's listening. Until now, they can see this is the end of the road. This is the last chance for anybody to save their countries under this model that they're setting up with the WEF and Jacinda Ardern
and the World Health Organization
with those elite people to take us out and take our flag and run off to the UN with it. So that's where the enemy is, that I'm put on for everybody to see where the problem is and how to fix it.
Yeah. Well, the World Economic Forum.
I can't hear you. Hang on. I can't hear you.
Okay, can you hear me, Andrew?
I have to go out and come back in, Andy.
Yeah, you have to drop out and come back in
gone
again.
off. They've gone and muted me.
Drop
I've
back,
just checked my mute. It's still on, but the volume's gone. So I hope you can hear me, and I wasn't talking to myself.
We can hear you.
I'll just go out.
We can hear you. We can hear you.
We can hear you, but if you can't hear us, drop out, come back in.
Yeah.
I'll send him a message on that.
Okay.
Anyway.
Live radio on Zoom. I've never done a live show on Zoom before, so this is new to me. I know you know it backwards and front, whatever. But no, it's great that we're able to have all the way from New Zealand, John Wanoa coming on and giving us this information. I really do think that we need to know, is each country in a position to do similar?
This is the same. This is for this. That flag is the world flag. All 250 countries, free passage.
Hard to get your head around.
What's happened? I mean, what's happened is the corporation. Yeah. If you see what he's pointing out is, like I was saying, if you imagine now, the royalty was bankrupted, and the crown, well, the royalty in England was bankrupted. England was bankrupted by the Rothschilds, yeah, using Napoleon's war.
Yeah.
So they bankrupted, and this is where it came in. This is why I say the king. This is my logical workings out of it. So the flag was created with the natives, yeah. The 50-50 contract was created with this flag, yeah, by the kings, and then it changed. This is where they've changed it, but that flag is still there. It's still there. So what John's saying is you're going back to that position where it was originally created with the kings, because that's what, if that was set in place.
It's also within the Union Jack, isn't it? You know, it's been incorporated into other flags, but not shown to its full potential. Is that what it is? Like hidden history, I suppose.
I mean, what you got to, because the Navy, yeah, the Navy was the protectorate. The Navy was the protectorate, and now the protectorate, yeah, is protecting those that are paying them. Right. So it was all about the control of the money. Well, the little red cross in that flag, yeah, that was the king's. So that was the gold. That was the gold. That was the money, yeah. Okay. Before the gold was obviously then that was taken off the pieces of paper that we now use and people will believe is money, yeah. But the gold was being used as the money. And the black line around that little red cross was the Navy that locked them out of it, locked Satan and the pirates out of it. Right. So yeah, that's the whole idea of it. Well, when they've usurped, they took that flag. Like I was saying, when I was showing that flag, I got speaking to someone, yeah, who I knew, known for a long time, and he said that he'd used that flag. Well, right. I'd never heard of that flag before John. I'd never seen that flag. I've never heard anybody ever told me that flag's ever been used. And I've got two people that told me that flag exists, right? Yeah. Yeah. So one was this guy who told me that he'd used it on a super yacht, and the owner of the super yacht was the Getty family, and they used it to get past everybody, so that we knew the power of the flag. And the other time was when I went over to England to hold the King's Bench Court in St James's Park, when they stopped John from getting into the country because he was a threat to the Queen. And I went into the media city. I walked in because I'd got my I'd got my C pass on me. They just took it as an entry pass. I was there with Frank McKellar and Kevin Blackburn. They stopped them, but I walked straight in. And I walked in, and I was trying to find Nigel Farage at the time, and he wasn't there anyway. And I got talking to Al Jazeera and some players. I was telling them to get to the St James's Park because we'll be holding the court tomorrow. Yeah. And they came up. Obviously, they sussed me because I'd been asking for Nigel Farage, and they sussed me out. So they came and they got the special forces, because who's protecting the site where I'd walked past. So the special force guys comes up to me like, yeah, they were all respectful, waited for me to finish my conversation, and I walked out with them. When I was walking out with him, I showed him the flag. I says, "You recognise the flag, don't you?" He says, "Of course I do." So this now comes from the special forces. Then you've got the other side to it, yeah, when Dino was in New Zealand, because remember this flag had the 21-gun salute, yeah, from the alligator. Yeah. So it's all recognised, and you've got the Navy guy stood in his white uniform. Oh, he must have been high up, yeah, and he's saying, yeah, and Dino was saying about the flag, and he said yes, and we're obligated to it. So it's also we've got the acknowledgement, yeah, that the fact that look, it's recognised by everybody that. But the people, but the people, by everybody.
It's not just but the people. The people don't know. You know, they need to be told. But when John came over to the UK, I remember being quite excited about it. I remember sort of, he had quite a journey to get there and all the rest of it. And he was doing videos, live videos on his journey and while he was there. What actually happened? What was he going there specifically for? And why did they not let him do it? And you say there was a threat to the Queen. Well, what's the crack? I mean, someone can't take something to court and tell the truth because it's a threat to someone. Doesn't matter who it is.
Well, John went over before that. John had gone over before. Right. John took the flag over to the memorial of St Patrick's. Oh yeah. Down Patrick. He put the 8-point star. He claimed the. So he'd done a lot of stuff. Plus, also in the UK, he went in and he held a King's Bench hearing inside the Supreme Court, just sitting inside the Queen. He can hold. This is the thing about King's Bench. See, we don't need, we're of the land. This is the true land flag. We can hold a court anywhere. We don't need to go into any of their foreign vessels in dry dock. So that was that point. But when they actually stopped John going into the country, John was also, don't forget, John also was trying to bring back the tidal energy, which was the tidal turbines, which was generating the hydrogen.
So trying to bring in free energy and all that.
Clean fuel and pure water for the world at the same time. And that would have also been the corporation. Remember, for a corporation to take a corporation, yeah? A monarch to take a monarch, because John's a surrogate king, because he's speaking for the kings. So it's a monarch to take a monarch, a corporation to take a corporation. So that was the corporation he was going over there also too. And he was going over there on a 6-month visa. So when he got over to England, bear in mind that John's done all this on his pension. Yeah. So John had no money. So when he got into England, they threw him out on three things. Three things, and you know who it was that had done it. It was the people that John had already called, rather, the ones that was attacking me. They attacked it.
You'll have to elaborate on that, because people don't really know what you're talking about there.
The Homestead. I mean, because at the time, don't forget, I was exposing 788, 790 Finchley Road. Yes. But also at the same time, I was exposing the Hampstead children case.
Hampstead, the same here, yeah.
So the Hampstead children case, but what it was with the Hampstead children case was the fact that the people involved in that were laundering the money through 788, 790 Finchley Road. So it got a bit messy. So that was the reason why. That's why the reason why the attack was on John. But the reason for it was because he didn't have enough money to sustain his 6 months being there. He had no place to live. And because he'd taken everything with him, he'd taken it, because he takes his court with him, his case with him, because all of his documents are within inside him, yeah? So he got his two terabyte hard drives, all of his and documents and everything. So when the police had him at the airport, they've copied all of his documents, and they've downloaded all his data. And the best that they could do, and that was the third part, was they threw him out because he was a threat to the Queen. Not he was a threat to the Queen. His documentation,
information, if it went public,
information that he'd got, was a threat to the Queen, because it exposed. Don't forget, you're going back with the ship to where they all came from, who created them, which was the Rothschilds and so on and so forth. So that was why he was thrown out. So that was when I was
what's to stop them from chucking him out again for whatever?
My trespass notice is expired 2 years. If I just go to Heathrow, it's only Heathrow Airport, not the rest of the country. So that's the way it came back.
I see.
So I will just
welcome back, John.
Again before I go, to save problems again. But everybody's getting the information. So long as people understand what I'm saying and they get the information from me, just in case something happens to me. And it just about ended me in Middlemore Hospital, and wasn't for my brother to come and rescue me out of there with people at home, I wouldn't be here. Be gone, because the injections they were beefing them up to get rid of me.
So who has got?
And John Patterson. Oh, the sound has gone off again. See what they're doing? It's gone off again, and my other phone got blocked, so I couldn't get into Zoom on my other phone. So I got 3 phones going all the time, just in case one fails, and I can go on to the other one. That's what they've done. They blocked the sound from me hearing what you're saying, and that's unfortunate that somebody's tickling around with it.
Yes.
I'll just have to log out again so that it can refresh the thing while you carry on talking, Andy. Okay. So that's the problem just now. So I'll come back in a minute.
Okay, speak to you in a bit, John.
Okay. So he didn't really hear us.
Going on from that, Sean. Going on from that. So obviously this was the full-blown attack on them. They had to destroy John. They had to just disappear him. They wanted him gone. Yeah. So after because they failed in the UK. They had 12 different police down there, and they also had a psychiatrist down there.
Yes.
And the best that they could do was obviously throw him out on those 3 grounds that I told you. And that his information was a threat to the Queen. So
in a way, he was lucky that he consented to leaving on those points, because they would have locked him away. They would have put him in prison.
The point here is, John, Sean, that at that point in time, up to this point in time, yeah, I was only going on what I was seeing from John, what John was explaining, my heart and what my gut, what with my heart, my gut was telling, everything that I, in my research, lined up with what John was saying, and it was a solution for everybody, not just for me, for everybody, yeah. And I was loving that fact, so I went with it, and I tried to bring it back, regardless to whether people understood what I was trying to do and why I was helping John. You know, some people don't really. People don't want the truth. No. People think, oh, they're scared, or they shouldn't be scared.
Well, the point that seems to be being made at the moment is this divide and conquer tactics. I mean,
exactly. I mean, it was the 77 Brigade, GCHQ, and everything else. That was who's been attacking me all along anyway. And I exposed all those anyway when I was doing. But anyway, after that, when he went back to New Zealand, bear in mind, yeah, this John's got nothing. He was doing all this from a pension. He was trying to fund his girlfriend, his wife over in his girlfriend in Philippines, where she was. He was funding her. He went without. He was doing without. He was sleeping in his car. He was sleeping in the car just so they could send the money over there. Yeah. And he was working out of a library. And in came, because he'd caught out Philip Taylor, the CIB, which is the Criminal Investigation Bureau in Australia, in New Zealand, he'd exposed them. And then this Philip Taylor, apparently he then retires or leaves the CIB, and he brings in somebody else, and that certain somebody else just happens to come down to the library, say to John, like, look, John, you know, you're not looking too good. Let's go down for a heart check. Let's go and check your blood pressure. Yeah, and lo and behold, he's walked him straight in the back door into a trap, into a mental health fraud, which is what they did. Yeah, I mean, and this is the standard of. Well, look, John Patterson.
I had a mental health fraud which failed for them alone, and now they're putting a criminal charge on the allegations. So that's what I'm facing at the moment. I'm living in a car at the moment. Also, Out of the Bag is only coming to you because I've got good friends who put me up for the night and know that.
Exactly. And the thing is, I mean, sure, we know that. The point is, it's like John said. I mean, same with me. We're at the bottom. We've got nothing. Same with you, Sean. We've got nothing. The only way is up. I mean, they can't take anything off if you haven't got it. We haven't got nothing left. You haven't got it. John's got. We've got nothing. So it doesn't matter what they can do. And when you say about them wanting to stop this, wanting to, what in anybody in their right mind would want to stop this unless you are the wrong. See, there's got to be.
Yeah.
This, if you're correct, and you're coming with the correct volition, and you're coming with the correct intent, yeah. Who is going to stop that? Yeah, for a start off, who and for what reasons, what justifications are they going to do for stopping that? The only thing that people can surely, regardless, you'd want to know, you want this out, don't you? We're going into a court. The court is this is for the court to decide. Yeah, we're not talking about what we're saying. We're presenting facts. The facts do the talking, not the people.
So unfortunately, because the judicial system is so corrupt in so many countries, I mean, obviously it's very corrupt here in Ireland. I'm sure it is in the UK and New Zealand. Basically, they are the stopping of. John's back. That's great. They are basically the courts themselves, and everybody within it are complicit in stopping the truth from getting through.
Well,
yeah. Carry on.
Go on, John. No, I'll leave it to you, John.
Yeah, so I'm in the courts with Alfred Mitchell here to unravel the complications of land transfer.
Yeah.
And then the courts, you have to go back to the original court where it started from, and undo it.
Yeah.
And yourself in as them mirror themselves, because they mirror us on our land. And they do the same thing between Ireland and New Zealand, mirrored Ireland into New Zealand as Ulster and Munster here. Then away they went with it. They went with King William III of Orange, Glorious Revolution, and how they took over Northern Ireland and then commercialized it as part of UK. So you got it split. They went successfully to split every country down in bits. To suit the land titles and the people who would listen to them. They'll only choose people in your own tribe to listen to and go against your own people, the same way as they do in New Zealand with Maori.
Right. So those individuals that go that way with that Rothschild plan, they are criminals. They are treasonable people.
Yeah, they're criminals in the same club. They call it a club, because they answer to the crown and nobody else. They don't care what you are, what you do. They only want your vote to keep them in power. So that's the only way that they've got is parliamentary sovereignty, not the real sovereignty. The Queen is there to take over everybody's sovereignty and put it into the crown. So as instruments, everything.
Now they're actually using corporations, John, to take away people's sovereignty.
That's how they do it. That's how they corporatize everything.
Yeah.
So that it belongs the rights of the city of London, the Vatican and Washington D.C. That have ownership rights in the crown, wealth and everything collected. So everything they do is King William III's Municipalities Act of 8-point star of King William, St. Patrick, on that they wear on the front of the monarch's wear to claim that wealth through that act, and memorialize St. Patrick as a good man. He was a good man that went to Ireland to save the poor people. He didn't want to follow Parliament, Westminster, where his father was. His father wanted him to follow him in Parliament and be a tyrant and bastardize things. And he that's why they used it as a symbol of good people in Parliament.
And even over the last 100 years, I mean, we've only had St. Patrick's Day as a celebration in Ireland in the last 100 years to cover up the 168 years of the of the reforming, or 167 to 68 years of the reformation of the Irish Republican Brotherhood, which again is the Freemason knowledge that isn't hidden. They're actually going public with it. So in other words, you said you learned lots of your history, etc., of Freemason. So that's exactly, yes. And that's exactly what we are doing too, but with people who really do not agree with the upper echelons of Freemasonry and the evil that they are doing.
Yes, that's right. So that you start from the certificate that of title to the land of the Freemasons set up in Scotland, in the main Edinburgh. Everything's in Edinburgh, and the what you call it. That's where we've got to go as well. So that's the Freemasons' main office is in Edinburgh. Everything of the land titles is there.
So, John, what are you expecting to do? Are you expecting to dismantle what they have and replace it with something else? Is that the plan?
No, the thing is to reassert at King William IV and use the acts for our corporation that we set in Britain. The people that I went to the Supreme Court with to sign our papers amongst ourselves in connection with the chiefs who sent me there from Waitangi Marae to represent New Zealand Confederation of Chiefs that signed those documents with the king of the flag. And so we put that corporation together to match the Queen's corporation and Rothschild's corporation as a business. It's all business, nothing else.
And how far have you managed to get? I mean, how far have you gotten with this?
It's all prepared now. I'm just waiting for everybody to come up to speed to know what's happened and to know what to do and go back with 6 people to take what we want from the people, and the people know what happened from what I say in Ireland and here, especially Ireland here, because they're modelling the laws here in Parliament right now, just now. They're making new laws from Ireland. They're usurping the laws from Ireland, Republic of Ireland, to make New Zealand a republic. And this flag we got is already a republic. It was given as a republic. You see, so they're not so smart after all. They're not. That's why I want people to know how to do it. It's the thing, the mechanics of it is knowing what to do with it.
Yes. So do you have to get it absolutely right? You have to get your syntax right. You have to do it in the right way. There's a certain methodology, no?
No, not in our native court. We can do what we like and write how we like. No syntax, no UCC law in our way of writing.
Brilliant.
To present Westminster to interpret from a little crown here in New Zealand of in our own native way with the memorials and a flag to say how we say it and make our new acts of Westminster from King William III and IV and apply them from that date on, from 1835, and memorialize everything starting from 1835 and backdate the debts against the corporations from that date.
So Ireland is sorry to bring Ireland into it again, but Ireland is in a position where they can go put it back to that heinous crime where our government was killed by King George V's losing government, outing government. We can not only bring it back to that, but can we also bring it back to the 1311 papal bull that Pope Adrian put on Ireland and gave a gift of us to the British Crown as their slaves?
No, we start from the Bank of England Act and King William III, 1689. You start from the, always go back to the bank and the City of London where the money is starting. We start from that period, 1689.
Gotcha, right.
And don't go back and don't go running off anywhere else because it wasn't commercialized on our time.
Very good. It wasn't corporate. You're right. So it wasn't. So the crime of piracy and mafioso going on around the world didn't really happen until that point, right? I got it.
It started from 1837 when King William IV died. That's when all the discrepancies happened with the commercial contracts and the Crown business. That's where you start from, where we start from, and in getting it resolved.
Yeah. So as nations, do we have to, I suppose, end the contracts, change the contracts?
No, the thing is to take the contracts back and keep them going, and go back to when the king was running business, right?
Right, before the corporate takeover.
Take everything back in time to when it was successful under the reforms of Westminster Act, King William III and IV. So there you go back to square one and pick up from there, then levy debtor, everybody that's gone and criminalized and defrauded the whole system of the King's Bench Court Bank. And so that's what we do. Go back to square one and a starting point, a good starting point.
So is every country on the planet under the British Empire able to do this?
Yes, that's what one shot. This is one shot. They did it one shot, we do it one shot.
Okay, so how far down the line are we for people to know, for us to be a big enough movement, for you to be a big enough movement to make it happen? Are we anywhere near a sort of a saturation point where people know the knowledge is out there?
This is the only way to do it. Technology has given us Zoom to have meetings amongst ourselves very quickly and to make decisions. We're doing a Native Magistrate Court on Zoom every time we take minutes of what we say for the next Zoom meeting until everybody consents to what we're, with lots of yeses and things like that, is one way. But the chiefs, you go after the main people who are in the scam of your own people and put them in front of you online, put their photos up. That's the thing in court now. Photos are acceptable as evidence, and videos never used to. They have video hearings where people in prison don't have to go through all the trouble to go to the court where people mob outside and cause a ruckus and everything. They do it video link now, and so we do video link here to set up a court ready to go to Westminster. We'll have our court set up over there in Westminster with all the evidence online for the public to witness around the world. That's your witness, is the people online watching. as evidence to go to the court with,
Okay.
to back your case in court. So
there'll only be movement to the masses, I suppose, and if the mainstream media break themselves free from their control mechanisms, I suppose, and tell the people the truth.
Yeah, so they get paid by that crown, and we get paid from our crown with the pound note, debtor instrument, when we go and enforce it and get the people to accept that it's a currency of our own that was given to us here in New Zealand, and then liven it up because it wasn't legislated out. It's still there, dormant, a pound note dormant. That's why I put up all these pound notes ready when I went to England to get them to put it back in place, put the flag back in place, put the pound note back in place, and we're in business.
Okay,
Yeah,
so you've got planned another Zoom meeting very soon. The reason why we're actually here on a live today on my show is because you were advertising the fact that if people wanted to join you on this Zoom meeting and had something to contribute to the meeting, to contact you and to find out how, what things are before the meeting. So, and there are rules as well, obviously, that one has to follow, just like in court, etc., to make sure that it doesn't go, have mayhem in the Zoom meeting, etc., in the session. So, what are the people around the world? Who are the people around the world that you'd like to join you for this talk?
No, the thing is to get your backyard right first. The thing is to sort out Ireland and New Zealand and England first. The three main things first, model it out for the rest of the world with this flag. And I've been talking to the Indigenous people, or anybody for that matter, of different cultures in Canada and America and Australia. So it's a waste of time talking to anybody who doesn't understand land and what's happened to their land underneath their feet. The only way to get them off is to take the land under their feet with instruments, only better instruments, better information in your instruments. That's what happened to me in Cook Street in Auckland when we put instruments in. The government ignored everything I did, but it's still on record. Why I went to England, all these things are still on record online where people can see in the videos, the YouTube videos I put up, evidence to pull out any time we like and put it in the court. So
does it matter how much evidence we've got if the courts are just corrupt and they're ignoring us? Yeah,
so that's what we got to go right to the top in the magistrate court where the Admiralty was set in the first place, on the captain got off his ship. That's where you go back into that court, which is doing international court hearings as well. They're doing some people from India staying in London that have got caught now, and they're in the millions, and in the magistrate court in Westminster being tried from the Indian government of fraud, taxes and everything, and living in London and getting away and hiding from India, and the Indian government is putting them up in the Westminster court. We do the same thing. I was in Ireland, I'll be doing the same thing too with the people. But the thing is to get the information out of how to do things. I'm mechanic and fixing things up, and go to the source of the problem first. Not when you're fixing a car, you don't look at the wrong thing because it won't go. Yeah. And so that's our problem solving. That you need to know where to start from and to pick up the confidence of people.
So for just about every country on the planet that's under this empire, it starts somewhere with a certain type of fraudulent document, doesn't it?
Yeah. So you have to set up yourself as a corporation, business, and take on the corporation's business in a court. And so that's what we're doing with Moai Crown and the company here, Naatu Altered, that we registered long ago. It's been sitting dormant until now, and then use that company. And then the one in England that I set up, the Moai Powerhouse Group Limited, registered. So you had to go registered in order for them to listen to you as a business corporation. Otherwise, they won't talk to you. They won't. That's why you get no. Just if you don't follow how they do it to you. You do back what you do to you. God says, do unto others what you do to yourself, and don't steal.
Yeah.
So what they steal.
Yeah. Sorry, what was that, Andrew?
Just as another point on this, I mean, I know this because this is what's ringing in my ears. At the end of the day, yeah, number one, that flag is definitely still there. The point is the one that's controlling the money. Yeah, the Rothschilds said you give me the control of the money, I fear no government. So the point is, it's about the money because it's the money that's paying the military. Yes. So when you get the pound note back to pay the military, now you've got the military that should come in, which is the protectorate that will come in and clean up. So, you know, it would happen very quickly. It would happen very quickly.
And the people would end up in each province, in each country, with, I suppose, their debt being paid back, and therefore they'd have a budget to carry on.
Yeah, their debt being dissolved with this instrument, always a legal instrument against another legal instrument. And the judge has no say because he's there for the bank of the Rothschilds. And so we got our own bank, Marae Powerhouse Bank, and you set these things already done, Sean. I've set them all up in 2011 period, and ready to go, but no one had enough information of how.
I remember that.
Standard. So you played them at their own game. And then that's the only solution to all the countries in the world following. Now they want to go into a new world order through the United Nations and the Pope's 193 countries' armies, and take the whole world out with one country to start with, first New Zealand as a model, and they use those President Case that they're setting up right now. We only got a short time before the legislative act of the Indigenous people, the Declaration of the Rights of the Indigenous People, and take it to the UN so that the UN can make out they're being good people and look after all the countries in the world under one government, one single government. And what I'm trying to do is to prop up the British government and keep that going, and keep the EU out, keep the UN, NATO, WF out with the right documents, documents and the people behind it. So all the people had to do around the world is say yes on video and come in and say yes and then scoot off. All the work's being done, Sean. There's no time left to muck around on.
How do people support you? And in this, you say all the work's been done and now you just need to do it or use it. How can people support you? Do you need support? If they do, is there a way they can support you? You know, as a being with you, or financially, or whatever. How do they do that? How do they support you?
This is what I did. I had crowdfunding, when I with Andy raised the money for me to get to England and stay there for a period of time. The people who in the group and supporting me vouched to keep me up at their homes and all that, but the Crown wouldn't listen to that at the airport. That I had a sponsor to keep me there for 6 months to do everything, and then they said you haven't got enough money to stay here, but they wouldn't take David Ellis and some others that put the money up, being there in a home to stay. And so that's why.
So did they not even contact Mr. Ellis and all the other people that were willing to help you? Did they not contact them and say, look, are you supporting them? In which case they'd have said yes, and you'd have been fine. Yeah, so that they just refused. They just took it as being near a threat over and above sponsorship to be there. So now the way to do it is to do the same thing again, crowdfunding, and from the people watching online and a website. So our organization here and Britain need a website, because everybody in Britain is like me talking to you now, as if you're with me, to make decisions on the website and to gather everybody to support just getting their country back. Yeah, I mean, we don't really, I mean, in my head, wouldn't it be better if it wasn't just John Wanoa who has to go to every country and do the work? Wouldn't it be great if we had a group of people in each culture, in each country, getting up and doing exactly what you're doing and doing it themselves? Yeah, so that's what I'm doing, modeling out so they can do it. Yes. It's the same, exactly what I'm saying with the flag. Carry the flag, because it's a legal instrument and a constitution and jurisdiction to use in their country, on their land. Yeah. When it livens up.
because it's already in the United Nations. Trump has got it. Darrell Payne put it there, and Paul Brown in Ireland gave it to Donald Trump at his golf course. So it's not as though he doesn't know about it. He does know that flag is representing. When the British sailors came here, the Admiralty came here to Newton and signed at Waitangi, they went to, I forgot his name, I should have had it, but went to America and joined up New Zealand with America, but they went with the fraud document, the Treaty of Waitangi, with no taka, paper, taka imprint, seal in the document. And that's what's missing in the Treaty of Waitangi. It makes the whole thing void, and the Queen void, because it didn't have the watermark on the document. So the document be unique and correct to make your claims and everything work against the Crown.
Can an individual, can a man or woman use that flag in court?
Not yet. It's because the legal is not in it. We're going back to England to put the legal in it in Westminster to force the government here to honour the flag and to dissolve Parliament or dissolve anything. Once you get that flag legalised back, because they took the legal out of it by Statute Act in New Zealand and that's the founding flag of New Zealand in 1835. Then they put the 1840 Treaty of Waitangi as they found it again as being their impression on the land. That's what I'm challenging. And they've done this to all the other countries in the world, took their memorials and did the same thing. So
in a nutshell, does it mean that all contracts from that date, from the 1830s, are fraudulent? Every single one?
From that part, we can put that as a starting point. The 1835 King's flag. King's flag is the highest import on any people's land, and start from that date, 20th of October 1835, and apply it to all the corporations all over the world that who have used the King William IV and King William III Acts of Parliament to get the mass amount of money from Admiralty law of the sea, not the land. This is a land flag. It was given on the land, not the sea, not all the sea flags that fall into the jurisdiction of this land and sea flag right now when we liven it up. It applies to all the crown on the top of the head business in Westminster. And your Queen there is no longer on the throne. She's in Scotland. She exiled to Scotland when Brexit came along, and they used the COVID to cover up her exiting.
Oh, you've gone on me there.
On the throne to keep the crown going, business. She can't sit on there and abdicate. She can't anymore. It's gone. She can't do it. So
I mean, there's something you might be able to explain to me, John. Apparently, now it's only something I've heard, the Queen, to still have control of the Republic of Ireland, or really has still a foot in there, she actually apparently comes to the Rock of Cashel every year and has to stand foot on it. And once she does that every year, or the monarch does that every year, it will still be claimed under the British Crown.
Yeah, so everything that's got Queen on it, or Virginia, or whatever it is,
or royal,
she carries on their own ritual in their own realm to keep their narrative going. They're praying to the crown. The crown is wide open now for anybody. That's why we default. It defaults back to the king if no one succeeds. She can't be there on the throne to hand it down, to abdicate to Prince Charles or anybody else in the family. So we're putting in the right king, Ernest Augustus V. He's in to take that throne. That's what we're proclaiming, to put the crown right. You got to put the crown business right, and everything will fall in place and come right again. And all the criminals are deaded in one shot in all the places where the crown went.
Wouldn't that be wonderful? Yeah, that'd be really, really wonderful. What's the population of New Zealand, John?
It's 5 million, just close on 5 million at the
So the
moment.
very similar as the Republic of Ireland. So
It
yeah.
was manageable, you can see things. It was small enough and not big enough to hide their legacy and their instruments and memorials to model out all the other countries. They are saying when the king conquered, the queen is saying she's conquering more countries to put into her crown, big crown, and so we're after the crown. The thing is, you go for the crown where all the wealth is and put somebody else there. You choose it. All the people affected and watching around the world agree with us online in front of everybody that the crown is going to go back to the right king, and so that's how you do it, Sean. That's how you do it.
But would that not just be putting us in another royal situation?
Yeah, so in order to keep the crown business going for us, the king made it for the common law people under common law of the King's Court. He did it for the king's people. So we're not going to let all those people get away with all the wealth they've stolen from us and start from scratch. We're not going to start from scratch. We're going to settle the account of Queen Victoria Trust or the Settergate Trust and every bit of money that's gone into that crown and challenge that crown with another better crown that's got memorials they stole.
Right. So the funding and the monies that the crown has collected can be then transferred to the new crown, and under that new crown, they won't be using that monies for war and disease and generational genocide. They'll actually be using it for good, is what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's what I put into the agenda I sent you. I've just added bits on, and that's one of them. The crown. We go as a crown. You claim the crown and the business, and against them to prove their memorial titles and jurisdiction. We're challenging online with everybody, and if every country agreed with what we're saying, then we get more clout behind us, like what Trump is trying to do to America, to get that support. He gets millions and millions of people, but that's him going after his stake in the crown of Scotland. Yeah, he's going as a Freemason.
So where does everybody's like, for example, excuse me, in Ireland we have, you know, the Constitution, the Proclamation, the Declaration of Independence. Really important that people who live in Éire know what they are, read them, and live by them if they can. So what and where do the constitutions of each country, where do they still stand once the shift has been moved from one royal monarch to another?
The Constitution will go back to the 1852 Constitution of New Zealand as a model, because it was given to us, and this stupid government changed it to the 1986 Constitution with Australia, and saying we're joined to Australia, sovereign, going around the corner, going around the backyard, back way to the crown, big crown in England. So that's what they're going under Queen.
They've done the same in Ireland. We've got 3 constitutions, but there's only one original. Do you know? They've changed it.
Original constitution of your country.
Yeah, the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, all these things. These are the instruments within inside that flag. When it's legalized, and it's being used, and that makes it fair for everyone. Yeah.
Yeah, Bendy. Carry on.
I say that's. I mean, when because it's
this
all
is just one constitution for the whole world, because it's got the 4 stars, the 8-point star of the money that the monarch wears, and it goes free passage through the whole world on that flag. Everything, the Constitution is inside that flag, and there's no need to apply your own constitution, because Ireland comes under King William III, that put this 8-point star together. So there, Sean, I can't hear you now, so I have to go back and
okay.
Yep, they're gone. They're doing silly games with me again.
They're playing silly games with all of us.
It won't be long.
Yeah, okay. We'll see in a bit.
So if you understand that what I'm saying there, just like the everything that they're doing, in their fictional creation that they've done, they've usurped, is in that flag. So, and it's the king's side, yeah, rather than the queen's side. The queen's side is the Rothschilds, which has been taken in and been pirated. This is how they've usurped it all. So then we create it so that we've now got it under the king's law, and all those laws. This is the thing, because law, there is no law until it's established. It was established, and those laws were beautiful, but no one's been able to enforce them because they had the control of the money. Yeah. So it's a one-shop shop. That flag does the whole lot. It
is, and you know, when the Irish people spoke up against them about the King George V ruling our land, you know, we called it Red Ireland at the time. When they stood up and King George V didn't expect it. He expected to win by a landslide because he thought everyone was happy with their Britishness, right? But they weren't, and they lost. And the people might have said, "Yes, we vote for you," but didn't. Okay, and 74 to 78 seats were won by IRB Sinn Féin. If any other country had have just said, well, congratulations to the winners, but we're the losers, we're going to kill them, and they do that and put their own people in place, I think there'd be fucking war all over the world if that fact was known about any country's proper referendum, you know, and it's never been addressed. And since that date, we've had a provisional government. It's why the IRA called themselves the Provisional IRA, you know, because they thought, you know, if they're provisional, once they go, we'll provisional be until they go and then we go. So it really is a case of lies being told and crimes not being addressed. And if any other country in the world, I'm telling you, if a despot from any other country held an election and they were the winning, you know, they were the leaders at the time, or the rulers at the time, or the government at the time, and then they held an election and they lost, surely they'd back down and say, well done for the winners, and we'll be under that for 4 or 5 years till we can battle back politically. But no, we were taken out and shot, you know, and people seem to be like, oh, so that just happened. Well, you know, somebody said to me, have you got proof of that? Yeah. They were quite proud of it, and they honored the dead. So yes, they shot them, you know, they killed them. So there is no arguing with it. But it's like, it's just something so despotic to happen, yet just allowed. Like, okay, that's grand. We'll carry on being British.
Yeah, the way I look at it is this. Yeah, I mean, obviously, this takeover of the world, yeah, to create a one world order.
Yeah.
There's 2 ways you can look at it. You can have one order for the world, or that all the world and all their own countries can live under, yeah, or you can have one that controls the whole world, and that's what they want. They've gone for the one ruler to control the whole world, whereas I'm just saying, rather than have anything to do with it's not so much the king, is it? It's something that like a house rule, so to say. Everybody's got their own house, and everybody's house rule can agree with the same. And if we can all have an agreement on the same house rule, yeah, then we've got a flag.
Exactly. I suppose I've been saying it for years. I said it, I think, on one of my first ever shows. I said, if the New World Order was caring, loving, war ending, famine ending, homeless ending, etc., we'd be with them. We'd be waving their flag saying, let's have the New World Order. Yes, I'd like to be part of it.
And that's exactly what that flag is. That flag was created to end all wars, not to cause them. And we're all under martial law is what it is, but that is, everything's within that flag.
Yeah. And
they have usurped it, and they are using it. That's why they're not showing it, but they're just sticking these yellow fringes around the other flags. Yeah. So we're all under martial law.
That's militarized, isn't it? Just to let people know.
Because I mean, all military, at the end of the day, yeah, to get the military to step in and do their duty. Not that I want a military, but we're going to, for obvious reasons, there needs to be a protection. There's got to be some form of protectorate.
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Sorry, go on.
So therefore, like, you know, who's going to be the one that's paying them? And at the end of the day, when you say about kings and all this lot and all these at the end of the day, it's order followers that have been doing this. And now the people are far more aware, and especially now with the technology now, in all the previous times, no one had the ability to spread their voice across the world. Nobody had that ability. No, with the technology now that we've got, everyone can now become and clear it. And like I say, what's John bringing forward? He's bringing forward the facts to get it re-established, get it acknowledged, get it seen for what it truly was, see where the corruption started. Fraud vitiates all, so you can take it right back to the beginning where it started, and then you can turn them into the debtors. Everything they've taken can go back to the pot, and people can start working within the confines of what the flag gives you. Because
Absolutely.
the Bill of Rights, your Constitution, everything.
Has John been aired? Has he been given airtime on mainstream media for this information?
That won't happen until we make it happen. None of that will ever go, because who's controlling all the mainstream media.
Yeah, so we've got these battles on our hands, haven't we?
The ones that have done this, I mean, this is a long in the plan, exactly what's gone on, but it's back. If I say it's backfired, we could also look at it into another point, couldn't we? We could also say that this was all deliberately, and everything that's being done to us was to make us wake up, because this has been going on forever. Yeah. This has been going on forever, and everybody's, the mere factor that, what frustrates the people is the fact that they won't acknowledge. They just ignore and they carry on regardless.
Well, the thing is, you see, once you realise that, once one, using Queen's English so that it doesn't get personal, once one realises that there is mass hypnosis, that there is mass educational bullshit given to generations of people, we have to, I suppose, forgive the masses for not knowing this stuff or not wanting to listen to this stuff because it's outside of their remit of their own thinking. But how the fuck are we going to tell them? Because once they know, and once they know the information about the flag,
they have to see it. They have to see it. I mean, it's like with me, I mean, it wasn't until I was 47 that I took that one step inwards and for myself, became honest with myself. Until people see anything, they seeing is believing, isn't it? I mean, you shouldn't believe anything you hear or half of only what you see. You should think instinctively. So when the truth comes out, it's going to resonate with everybody. Yeah. So instinctively, people are going to come, you're going to bring, that is, how do you break the mass hypnosis? How do you break the mind control? How do you break that fear? Once people start to see justice, when people start seeing these things happen, it'll change over day. It's like John said, it's like Puff the Magic Dragon. We live in an assumption and presumption, a world of assumption and presumption. If we could start seeing facts in the world, and if we could take back, because I mean, that's it again, take back the land from underneath these media outlets. Yeah. If they're not going to be putting out the truth, we'll remove them. We'll remove them off the land. Anybody that wants to be a pirate on the land, because all these people that are either the pirates or the minions of the pirates, because basically that's the vast majority of the people. I mean, the police themselves, they don't realise what they're doing. They're just compartmentalised. They're oblivious to what it is they're doing. They're just following orders. Yeah. But they know in their hearts, because they can see what's going on. They knew what Corona was. They knew that what this was really was nothing about a virus. They knew it was all about control. They knew exactly what was going on. The police themselves said it. They knew this is all about control. This is all about breaking the people down. So it's those people that haven't broken, I mean, with the ridiculousness of like 9/11 and 7/7 and all the other previous ones. I mean, how ridiculous are the lies? I mean, what was they said? I mean, when they've got everybody to believe the truth is a lie and the lie is the truth, they've sussed it, haven't they? And they very well nearly did. They really, if it wasn't for the media. If it wasn't for the not the media, should I say, the social media or the internet, I would never have known what I know now. Yeah. And now the ability, see, this is the point. Up until the media coming out, realistically, the knowledge was in books that were outpriced for the normal people to understand. Yeah. And so therefore they had all the excuse of nescience, meaning that the knowledge wasn't there for them to see it, so they couldn't understand. Not ignorance, nescience. It's ignorance. Now it's got to be ignorance because the truth's there. But the ignorance is the conditional of what the programming did by creating the cognitive dissonance, by creating the Stockholm syndrome.
Well, think about it, Andrew. Think about it. Why, oh why, do Irish people not think for a second that it matters that their government was killed by the losers of a referendum? They seem to have ignored the whole thing and said, okay, we've got the losers as a provisional government, and that's grand. So
Yeah,
God knows.
Try and think out why somebody that has bought or been brought up on, I mean, because you've got to remember, it's our loved ones. You know, our mums and dads, our best friends, they all told us lies.
Yes,
but
they were lied to. Look, ignorance.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is the point. A liar is a liar because he knows the truth.
Andrew,
a liar is a liar because he knows the truth.
Right. Got that. But I really want to say this point. Okay, is that ignorance is not forgivable because you are ignoring the truth, whereas nescience is totally forgivable. It means you haven't been told the truth.
Yeah, but the addition, this is also, you know, you've got to accept the fact that, you know, I mean, I'm not here. We're not here to look for blame here. No. We're not here to remove. We're not here to destroy. I'm not here to do any of that. No, and I knew that if I did that, then I'd become a domestic terrorist myself.
Sure. But people who are nescient don't know. And what I'm saying is, we then just have to, in our world, educate them, and hopefully they're not nescient anymore, and then they don't ignore it, and they become part of us, and they become part of the future. If they then ignore it, then they are part of the problem, and that's the situation. But at the moment, it's only because of, I suppose, the last decade of intense information sharing on the internet, as you say, is how we've all started to wake up. Not everyone's on the internet. Not everyone lives in our world. Not everyone is even connected to us in that sense. So we've got to get other ways of doing it. If that means taking over mainstream media outlets and terroristly, peacefully though, taking them over and taking to the microphone and telling the truth to people, maybe that's the way we should do it, you know. But at the moment, the mainstream media and the entertainment industry, sports, etc., all around the world, is distracting everyone from the possibility of us all waking up to very few people needing sorting out to change our world.
Well, if you've got courts, with the King's Bench Court being brought back, and now you can pull politicians into there, these governed servants, these politicians that have to rule and govern, they can be pulled in. Yeah. I mean, why is it, right, people are accepting these and calling these people governments, yeah, and these governments are holding the truth from the people.
Yeah.
Why are the people paying media that are holding the truth from the people?
No,
why are they paying them to lie, to be lied to, be propagandized to? You know, and until we can get a court that we can pull these people in and prove to the people through a court, because that's the only thing they're going to accept it. I mean, people won't believe it until it's seen on television. But when you're getting them into a court and forcing the television through the court to publish this now to the world, to show the world the truth of what's really been going on, and then the people can see it. Because
do you think that's going to be happening in the near future, Andrew?
It could happen very quickly, couldn't it?
Yeah, I think so too.
It could happen very quickly. Why couldn't it happen very quickly? It could bring anyone into court and do it. Yeah, you know, they want to drag it out through the box. It doesn't. The other side to it. This is the other side to it as well. You've got to understand is the other part to this flag. This is a land flag. Now you remember what I've told you about the courts. All the courts, right? Yeah, are foreign vessels in dry dock. This is all maritime. But the court, we've got a land flag now. Yeah, therefore, that's already on the land. We don't have to come over the sandbar to get to the land. So therefore, we don't have to go through the bar association with all these silly lawyers, which we know are just going to lead you down every path there is so that you're never going to get to justice. So justice can be very swift because the facts will produce it. But you can't get any facts in a court of law because the bar association refused, because they've all sworn on an oath that no fact can ever be heard or tried in a court of law. So now we could have facts within the court of law, which will expose the truth to the world, and we can then force the media to tell the world the truth.
Yeah, and then that's I mean, how shocked would people be if they knew that we had loads and loads and loads of possibilities of cancer cures over the year, but because of the British Cancer Act of whatever year it was, we're not allowed to fucking do them.
Well, that's the whole point, isn't it? People need to see it to believe it, and they need to see it on the television to believe it. And then when they do, I mean, this is what they'll say: you can't tell the people the truth because they'll be rioting and all this lot.
That's bollocks. Yeah,
That's absolute nonsense. They tried this one.
their fear. It's their
that
fear.
was the War of the Worlds. That's how they tried it with the War of Worlds, by doing a show and saying, look how the people reacted, but the people didn't react like that, and that was a lie.
Yeah.
So this is all what they try to say, that why you can't tell the truth to the people, because the people don't know, the people can't accept the truth. The people can't accept the truth because they don't know what the truth is, and they need to accept
the truth is so
place it. You know, until they hear the truth on that fucking patented weapon that's been used on the whole world, the television. Until they see it through the weapon that's been weaponized against them.
Well, we can use those weapons for good, okay? We can use those weapons for good. Exactly. All the hippies that said to me over the years, chuck your television away. No, we need to control them because that's how they control them. So we need to be truthful in our journalism, be truthful in our education, and yes, there's room for entertainment and fantasy, of course there is, and there's room for sport and all the rest of it, but we need to be telling the Irish people and the global people the truth about what is going on under their noses, with absolute crimes being committed by individuals on a daily basis.
Absolutely. And the other side to it was with what John was saying, because this is the other side to what I was saying. When you've got the land title flags, these schools, I mean, people know now what these schools are doing to the people. Yeah, they know what they're doing to our children. Yeah, we can stop that straight away, because that's the next generation. They're the ones that are going to be looking after us when we're too gone.
And they need our support. They're the ones
that need to be brought up, and they need to be given the truth. Yeah. They need to see the facts for,
and they need our support. They absolutely need our support.
Listen, children are the most intelligent ones, because the children haven't been poisoned yet. They haven't been programmed and instructed to be what the people are. So the children are wise, but the problem is the parents are not, and the parents are the ones that are telling them, and the parents are
they're the educators. Yes.
So if the children are brought up in the truth, because I mean, as it is now, the schools have used it. They turn the children against the parents. They tell the children that and they're told these. It's disgusting what's going on, and I think the world knows full well that it's disgusting what's happening to the children. That what's being done.
But look, there are sons and our daughters, and when we realise that children themselves is slavery, so in the child and the children and all the rest of it, we are really, really needing to educate our sons and daughters in the stuff that our parents didn't educate us in, and that's our job. Okay, I
would not use the word educate. The children can be shown how to understand the truth for themselves.
Same thing. Well, I would argue the child the word shouldn't be used, but educating there's nothing wrong with that word, okay, in my view. But look, we are coming to the end of this. I was only going to have you guys on for an hour. It's now an hour and quite a bit. So I would like to ask one thing. John, you're back with us. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, fantastic. Would it be okay if you told us what's the next step? You've got this Zoom meeting coming up very soon. If you tell us what that's about, what you're trying to plan, and what your future is for the immediacy of getting that King's flag globally known.
So the thing is information. That the people need to read the information that I throw all over my Facebook site to get where we're going, but it needs collaboration by someone on a website where they can go to the website and read on one place and not spread out all over the place.
Yeah.
And so they need to, this is a broad overview of everything. This what we're talking about now is a broad brush approach, then break it down into the next Zoom meeting and then record that so that people can see the steps it takes in order to get to the objective,
so
the crown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then individual groups. So with that information, individual groups can form in different countries and get on with the work that they need to do to make this happen.
They need to apply a model. We're modeling ourselves out as a crown corporation in the legal world, not in your own laws, but in the legal system. Before they can talk to you and answer to you and wake them up from the dead and to challenge their documents with better documents. You need the certificates. The native of Ireland, they are landlords, they are sovereign landlords, but the sovereign is the queen or whoever's on the throne to take all your sovereigns and put them all in one basket, and then you are subject to that. We're doing the same thing and model ourselves around one crown system that people understand. This is how you get your power back one shot. By creating this online, it's better doing it face to face, like how we're doing is admissible in any court. And we use the visual of leaders that in the end are like leaders from their countries or in the native side, on the opposite side of the Crown Corporation, to talk on video like this, to witness what we're going to do. But we start off in your backyard with your own people in Ireland and our own people in New Zealand to talk about how to tackle the beast with your documents. And we use the documents that are put online. They can't tell us how to write in syntax or anything. It's our law in our own king system that we go up against the Queen and her UCC law and Pope law and every other Dom, Dick and Harry law. And so that's when people say your documents won't go anywhere, it means someone in our group will, from Britain and here, that's including Ireland, will be the person to put it in speak, in their legal speak, so that it would get accepted or admissible in the Westminster Magistrate Court.
So it needs to be translated into their legalese from whatever we're using.
Somebody from anywhere in the world. It could be from any country in the world who is affected by the Crown doing things to their people, to their native countries, and come online and vouch for their country. So we stay with you. I have Rebecca from Ireland. She's with us all the time, watching and learning quickly what to do and follow through. So that's one. Paul Brown is a bit silent because he's not up in this field. Right. So you need to follow through, and I need those people from Ireland who understand land titles and make our own certificates. You make your own certificates to your land, your native land. They own their certificates. That's the problem. The Crown and the Queen, Rothschild, they own all their certificates all over the world.
But they're fraudulent, though, aren't they? You know.
Yeah, they're fraudulent, but you got to prove it. That's what we're doing here. The next Zoom hearing we have, I'm calling it hearings because we're making statements and enforcing laws. Like you'll read my latest one on my page. I keep putting things in that I can think of, and apply those and learn how to do it, so that we can get more information out. It'll go from one Zoom to another and come back on like this again to update how far you can do with people going over and over the video to understand that you need a certificate of your own and a crown of your own, flag of your own, everything of your own to go into court.
So I just want to ask you to get in contact with you. Obviously, they can get Andrew Devine on Facebook and yourself. I did have it down here as facebook.com/Mariana.HereMayaBaker.5. Is that right still?
That's not the right one. It's just John 1 hour. John, I'll send you the link to get there. The main page.
Brilliant. I'll change it for the podcast page. Perfect.
3 Facebook pages, each for everything, till one day somebody can pick it up and carry on with those Facebook pages to split it all out. So we're bunching everything in one place now and then split it off eventually. But it's better to go right across like this so people can understand, so we can get to a quicker resolution. We form resolutions, and before we get prepared before we go to Westminster with Ireland behind and know what to do, and less people talking and more people to know what to talk about on their behalf. So I'm here on behalf of everybody in the world who are watching a model out. This is a model out.
Yeah. Okay, well, brilliant. Listen, guys, we've come to the end of the interview on here on Out of the Bag. I know that you've got great work coming up. May the 6th, I think, is your Zoom chat. I hope it goes fantastic for you. I don't know if I'm going to be involved at all with it, but keep us posted. And Andrew Devine, thank you so much for setting up the interview and getting John here on Zoom with me. John Wanoa, I know it's very early in the morning where you are. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing information. Send me as many links as you need that I can then share on the podcast page, and I'll get that out tomorrow with this podcast. Thank you so much.
So Rebecca from Ireland, she's doing that. She's got all the groups and people and spreading it all out from what we do online.
Okay.
And all the information of the documents, especially the documents, so that people in Ireland can see.
Brilliant. I'd love to meet up with Rebecca, maybe have her on the show and have a chat and all the rest of it. So look, Andrew Devine, John Wanoa, thank you so much for coming on Out of the Bag, guys.
A pleasure.
God bless. God bless you. God bless the listeners as well.
Lovely. Thank you so much. So I'm just going to leave the Zoom. Do I just leave and carry on with the show, or?
Yeah, you can leave the Zoom. Yeah, I'll do you want me to drop you out?
I don't mind.
Yeah.
I don't mind.
I'll drop you out. I'll stay with John for a second, so I'll drop you out there. Okay, then.
Brilliant. Thanks, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care.
Yeah, see ya.
So
Yeah, so that's good, Andy. So that gets a little bit at a time, a little bit of information at a time, but we cover a lot of things, and so people will go over the video and pick out what's going on, what we're up to. What they want to know more about what to do in the face of their governments and the New World Order taking over.
Yeah, I take another idea of it as well. I mean, to bring more people in, because obviously the meetings that we've had. I mean, one was 8 hours, one was 4 hours. So for shorts, for snippets, so to say, like 10, 15, 10, because people's attention spans, they can't, and they just haven't got the time to go through it. But just on single points, on breaking down little single points, just have little individual videos on those snippets on those individual bits. Because I mean, they overwhelm people. It's overwhelming people. So just individual bits. I mean, even if you're just talking about what's inside the flag, the contents of the flag, the understanding of the money, the creation of the money, so that you can understand. Because we've been trying to get for how long have we been trying to get the Navy to acknowledge or to speak up and do something? But basically what they've said is, you don't pay us, you don't pay us. So that's the importance of this flag, and the fact of getting that legalized and getting the money so that we can pay the Navy, so that the protectorate can actually come in and protect and do what the flag tells them that they are to do, because they're obligated to it. They are obligated. They've stated that they're obligated to it, so we know that they're obligated to it, but they're just not being paid by the people, so until the people can pay them, the right side of it, on the king's side of it, because the Queen Rothschild side of it is the one that's paying them, and that's who they're adhering to. So that's what I'm thinking is for the people, for the breaking down for the people, inclusive of myself, inclusive of myself. It's good to just have individual bits, like,
So this is a broad brush approach, Zoom, and so we can pick from the list of things I've got going, but I'm putting everything court ready. I'm getting court ready again with people, and we can't go on too long teaching people from scratch, because we just haven't got time to spend on one thing if one other thing is more important than the other. But we split out from what I've listed in all the resolutions. I've got main points and or proclamations and declarations that we say in front of each other once we get a group together, once we get an organization here, and the one back in England back together again. We're preparing for a mass court hearing, and so the main thing is to pull out each bit to go over how to prepare ourselves for going to England, and from the list of things I've got there's about 23 now things to run in front of everybody so that they have something to think about. So we have to, this is a thinking phase until we find people to make an organization here, a corporate organization here. And we've got the two companies, the one registered here. So we go under that registered company, Ngā Atua e Wā Aotea Limited, when I opened it up and ready to go as a corporation, and the one in England, who Frank and everybody there signed, Moai Powerhouse Group Limited, and stick to those two corporations business. So this is all about business in tackling the problem of everything else first. So we break it down. We break those points down and talk about each one. If we can pick out which one we want to talk about in the Zoom meeting. That's what I'll do in the next Zoom meeting on Friday, is to read them out and then pick on one that people think in the group which one we should go to first. With the limited amount of time we've got to set ourselves up here and in Britain properly for a court case. The main thing is a court hearing to legalize the flag and get people. We haven't got the people here. I went by myself the last time, so now I'll go back over it again so that they understand at Waitangi, where the treaty was signed, and we've already got one looking in Manahi Mohini. So you see the people that I put there, I invite to come on, but they don't need to. They know what I'm doing. Those elders that signed those documents that I took to England, they know. They sent me there with a mandate. So I'm in my right to talk about that. But the main thing is to get a group that will get the consent from those elders. That's all that matters here. The people here, and from Britain. I say Britain because that's corporate. Britain is corporate. UK, not England or London. So we make sure we use the right terminology of going into battle with the Crown versus the Crown, the Maui Crown versus the Crown Corporation. So those are the main factors of we splitting out what to talk about. We can spend a lot of time on one topic, but if we went over each one and spent a little bit of time on each, and then for a Zoom meeting, so it doesn't go on too long, because there's a lot of information to jam in one time and hold on to it without losing it to the next Zoom meeting. So every Zoom meeting that we have, even with Sean, is a minutes that someone has to write up in our organization company as admissible in any court. You have to have minutes to a hui on a marae. And so that's what I've been doing all along. Then get that signed to in real at Waitangi by the elders to send me off with the group again. This time we'll get it instead of just me. So there we can split those out, Andy. I've altered the proclamations. I had resolutions before, because if you have resolutions, it's up to the people to decide and bandy around for a long time to see if they want it or not. I'm saying there's no time for wanting something. I put the laws of enforced laws ready for us to pass, to take to England as being passed by the people of New Zealand and the native chiefs, elders, as being one shot at getting consent to the documents that we already took to England to amend them from a revised delegation. So there, something like that. We can split it out, but we'll talk about that on the next Zoom meeting, because we're bringing in people from all over the world to talk on our Zooms to get a feeling, get a feeling of the feedback. And my Facebook pages have been limited to the amount of people that can watch me. So not everybody can see what I've got on my post. Like even Sean doesn't know, he got the wrong site, because I got so many Facebook sites that he went to the wrong one. And also I get the Moai Powerhouse website going again, or make a totally new one is better. But the thing is, I didn't want our focus to go off track with someone putting their own thoughts into it, Andy. If you get too many people to change what I've written down, they'll stray off the mark of the flag, and everything else, the commercial stuff, the legal stuff, the church stuff, they'll go off the track and lead us to nowhere. So we have to stay on the one track of what I'm writing, as that better information than a researcher, Andy. We can't go and hire a researcher because he's licensed to the Crown Corporation in Wellington, with Jacinda Ardern, and they won't accept anybody else's research for you when you go into court. So that's what I say. In any case, like Kate Frost, your research stacks up in a court hearing. I don't know how she got on with her court hearing. We haven't heard back yet of some good news on her side. So on the next, I've just said to her just now, because she's been pleading to me to let her on, because I won't send her a link, but she could have got it through somebody else that's in her group. But it doesn't matter. I'm open to it, or forgiving for anybody, but I didn't want them to come and spoil the track we're going down, and have a say, then turn the mindset of everybody. It'll turn the mindset. If someone's speaking, that will have to mute if they went off the track of what I put down as proclamations that we make under this flag. So nothing else is going to come into this Zoom hui, or on a marae, as if we're on a marae, when it's talking about another flag. So any talk like that won't be accepted in our meetings. So there, something like that. But you're right, narrow it down and talk about one or two things in another Zoom meeting after. We're going to go from one hui to another hui to break it right down into, that will be the time we go to England. We can't go there without going through these steps. We can't, with preparation. So that's for the whole world, not just New Zealand and Britain, but for the whole world. And Canada, I've got Jesse Howell. I'm going on his show in Canada. He's just given me the time and date to go on, and he's watching as well. And those native people have been in contact all along in Canada, are waiting for me to come out with some answers for their native people. And so I'm saying the native of the country means everybody with a born certificate. That's the first right than someone who just stepped off a ship onto the land as an immigrant and hasn't been born there with a naturalized citizenship to match our documents. And so we can't have anybody talking that doesn't fit the criteria of what we're doing to get leaders. We need leaders to lead everybody for the world, and not just here in New Zealand. So there, our hui goes to the world, where all our people are spread out in bloodlines, mixed up now. So
mankind. Yeah, it's mankind. There's nothing. Yeah. It's not about colour anymore. It's about mankind. You know, it's not about races. In fact, actually, I mean, it's like they like to say about the tribes. The tribes are all mankind. The tribes are mankind. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's what we represent. That's what that flag represents. Four corners of the globe joined up together as one. So what happens here, Andy, is anybody who hasn't got a birth certificate for the country, they are adopted, or we call it whāngai, into the hapu, or into the people that put them where they live, put them into this native, to become a native. That's how it's done. So they're not missing out. So all those immigrant people who have just got off the boat and got citizenship through the New Zealand government, and the people here can't even get the rights as a citizen, and the people who are coming in the country gets everything that was given to us through the Crown and the Trust. They're sharing it, and as because they either got the money to come in and buy land, which the government wants, people with a lot of money, or they've come in illegally, or someone in the government has let them in. So there we have to get around that side of people that come in and be in the system we've got. To be honest,
Sure.
fair,
I mean, when all wars, because this is what the flag was all about, to end all wars. I mean, people can go back and rebuild their country, so they've got the choice, haven't they? I mean, it's not. I mean, they're not. If they're immigrants, why would they be immigrants in the first place? Why would they want to run away from their own country? If it's only because the country is who's controlling their country, and once once they've got back a government, the people that are in there that are meant to be serving them, that have got now rules that the people can enforce. It's giving the power back to the people. You are the crown. Everyone is the crown.
Everyone is the crown. That's right. Everyone is the crown. They claim the crown. Everyone.
Yeah, you're all the crown, guys. Every single one of you. This is the thing. You're all natives. You're not persons. This is the point. So yeah. No, beautiful, John.
So we have to step into the corporate world. We have to mirror them with us, and then go back to normal, go back to common law and the people of the land, and everything will come right and have order. And the flag is supposed to protect us from the king, and it's not. It's supposed to protect trade between here and Britain, and the black line in it, that seal of the king, is to keep terrorists and everybody out, or pirates on the high seas out, on the dry land, out of what we do with trade. And it is also Dan Hermanson interpretation of it is that it's a snake. So everybody that's operating on that side of the crown has got names of labels of what it means to keep them out of the king's business. So there, we're differentiating between king and queen, and go back in time to reassert that authority and our documents and stuff like that. Something like that, Andy.
Lord reiterates all. Right, John. I better because it's 9 in the morning. So right, for me, we're on it. I'm on at 9 in the morning. So you, it's on. So it's your tonight at 6 o'clock. I better. We'll end it there then. We'll end it there.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay then, John. And I shall catch you in the morning. I'll catch you later on tonight.
Right.
Take care now. Thanks everyone for watching. Please share far and wide, because this is at the end of the day, you want to know the truth, don't you? That's all we want. We want the truth. We're going to take it back and show it for what it is. I tell you what, what I would love for the court to be televised and for the world to see the truth. Yeah, that's what it should be for the world, because it's for the world to judge. Yeah. All right, then, John.
Okay.
God bless.
Cheers.
Take care now.
Cheers.
Bye for now.